All right, let's talk about a guy who was not announced in Ohio State's recruiting class on Wednesday, Stephen Means and Doug Lesmerises. Of course, we're talking about Justin Fields, the quarterback from Georgia who was the number 2 overall player in last year's class and is looking to transfer. He is officially in the NCAA transfer portal, which means that other schools can talk to him. Let's get a little context first. We have a story up at cleveland.com where we tried to give you some context on Justin Fields, but how would you characterize it, Stephen? If, we're still talking if, we'll get to will later in the video. If Justin Fields winds up here, how big a deal is that?
I think it's a big deal because, one, you have your starting quarterback. I think it eliminates any type of quarterback competition that's going to happen in the spring because Justin Fields is transferring because he didn't win the job in Georgia. He's not going to come to Ohio State and not play. Wherever he goes, he wants to play, and he wants to play next year. So I think him coming, I think there's a little small 5'10" quarterback from Las Vegas who may no longer be here if Justin Fields comes. So I think it's a huge deal if he comes here because if he comes here, he's going to want to play, not sit on the bench like he was in Georgia.
This is a guy, I think he's 6'3", 225. He can run and throw, but he's a big dude. He has a relationship with people that Dwayne-Haskins knows, quarterback coaches who have worked with Dwayne-Haskins. Ryan Day was talking today about all the people who have taken note of what this offense did with Dwayne-Haskins this year, and I'm going to be writing about this more. You can tell that's the way Ryan Day wants to go. Urban Meyer loved quarterbacks who were dual threats, who could run the ball. How well a quarterback could throw was kind of down the list of what Urban Meyer looked for. He wanted running ability, he wanted leadership, he wanted toughness. I tried to get Ryan Day to, I didn't ask him to make a list, but I think the answer he gave, number 1 on his list is, can you throw? And so I think you're right. I think this is interesting for Tate-martell. I don't think Justin Fields and Tate-martell will both be here next year. It'll be one or the other. If Fields comes, I think Tate-martell will look to play somewhere else. But it's one of those things. It's interesting, Stephen. You look at this Ohio State quarterback room. Everyone assumes Dwayne-Haskins is going to leave. And then you look at what's lined up. And it was Tate-martell, Matthew-baldwin, Dwan Mathis, who you thought was going to sign today, and then they have Jack Miller in the class of 2020. They also have a transfer from West Virginia who's here kind of as an extra arm. But if you look at it a certain way, like I think people have talked about Tate-martell a lot. He did not do that much this year. It can look, and Matthew-baldwin's coming off an ACL injury in high school. He couldn't even practice for half this year. If you look at that list without Justin Fields a certain way, it can look really thin really quickly with the guys who are right here, right now.
Yeah, the options are not nearly the way you thought they would be because one guy just didn't get reps because he was injured the entire year, and the other guy, well, he's sitting behind possibly the best quarterback in Ohio State history, so his reps weren't that high. He played a lot early on, like in garbage time. I know he had a game where he was 10 for 10 in the game, which was great and all that, but down the stretch, like his reps are not high. They're the same type of reps that any backup quarterback would get. It's where, okay, we're up 50. We're not going to get our starting quarterback who's a Heisman candidate hurt. So, yeah, we'll throw this guy out there just in case. Now he's got a little bit of reps for the future. But no matter what happens next year, once again, you're going to be in a position where you've got a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of reps, who doesn't have a lot of experience playing for Ohio State. At least with Dwayne-Haskins, he played in a big game with Michigan, and he wasn't hurt, so he got reps. None of these guys have a lot of reps, whether it's game time or practice time with the number 1 unit, even if Justin Fields does come.
Dwayne-Haskins did get even more normal backup reps the year before. And when you think about where Ohio State was when J.T. Barrett left and they went into this past spring with Joe Burrow and Dwayne-Haskins fighting for that job, both those guys had more of a resume behind them than what Tate-martell would have now. So you understand maybe why Ohio State is looking at Justin Fields. I still believe in Tate-martell. I think Tate-martell can be a good college quarterback, but it just feels like things are moving in a direction that maybe it won't happen here, and maybe the guy who's going to be Ohio State's starting quarterback in 2019 is not currently on the roster yet. Stephen Means, Doug Lesmerises, lots of quarterback recruiting, other recruiting coming your way. Thanks for watching at cleveland.com.